They say home is wherever you are, that's true. But I'm still 1,000 miles away from
Hello,
you.
everybody. My name is John Mosher. I'm here with Mosher's Records alongside of 91.7 WCUR Westchester College Radio. I'm here with the amazing folk artist Daniel Rodriguez. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So, the album that you just released, Vast Nothing, came out March 1st of this year, 2023. Can you kind of talk us through the significance of that album?
Yeah, it's a lot of the material was kind of written over that period of time where everybody was kind of masked up in home, so uh, there was a period during that time where John Prine, who was a big influence on me, he passed away, and so there's actually the title song I wrote the day he passed away. So I was pretty affected by that. And yeah, some of the songs, I used to play in a band that got really successful, and some of those songs that never made it on any records. There's a couple of those that are on this one. And yeah, but most of them were just kind of written over the last 3 years. And um, I was having a tough time kind of writing more. So usually when I'm having a tough time writing, I'm like, oh, I got to record and get, put some of the older songs on wax before I can hash out some new tunes. Um, but yeah, it was kind of a lot of the materials sort of longing for, some human connection, but nestled in a safe place of contemplation, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the pandemic and everybody being so separated, I definitely can see where there's that longing for connection, like you said. Are you able to talk about which band you were in, or is that like a hush hush thing?
Oh yeah, I was one of the founding members and primary writers and singers for a band called Elephant Revival, and
Okay.
we're pretty, got pretty successful around the country and in Europe a little bit. We went over to Europe a couple times, but most of all, very successful within the region of Colorado, and we would sell out Red Rocks and stuff like that. They're still a band and they still play. It's just that I have kind of distanced myself from them a little bit. Been doing solo stuff and following the leads on that. And I, did a whole tour opening up for the Lumineers last summer and kind of just following the threads of inspiration on my own a bit.
Yeah, that makes sense and is very understandable. So for Vast Nothing, what are some of the inspirations for the album? Where did you come up with some of the ideas for it? Maybe it's not music inspirations, but inspirations within yourself that you found.
Um, Gee, that's a tough question. I think because each song individually had their own kind of different inspirations. Like Wild Horse was kind of it's sort of like an upbeat song. It has like the pace of galloping on a horse, and it's a kind of about like here we are in these human physical bodies, but there's this other aspect to us, like the observer and like spirituality, and it's almost like our bodies have their own momentum, but then there's like this spiritual aspect that's kind of riding the horse of the body. So that was kind of the inspiration for that, and in a more abstract way. I just kind of talked about it as a horse. Um, let's see. Yeah, each song is kind of their own island, but somehow they all fit together pretty pleasantly. Like Mixtape, that's the second song on the album. That was kind of rediscovering the beauty of like a good, honest road trip, and your friends got a good good playlist in the passenger seat, and everyone's cruising, just having a good time. The wind's at your back, so that's kind of inspired by that. And uh, yeah, I mean, some of them are just so. Sometimes I'm just writing and I don't know what I'm writing about, and then by the end of the writing session, I'm like, oh, that's what that song's about. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I think that's a lot of way with art just in general. I mean, you look at artists who like as musicians, you're artists, but you also look at artists like who paint or something like that, and they get into that like creative flow where they don't really know what they're making until they made it and they look back on it and they're like, oh yeah, that's what I made. That's pretty sick. But yeah,
Yeah.
some of my favorite tracks actually. You mentioned Wild Horse. That's one of my favorite tracks off the album, as well as I'm Yours and the album title Vast Nothing, which is a song as well. That's one of my favorites. What are some of your favorite tracks?
Yeah, I think Vast Nothing for sure. That one just kind of, that one's the one that I wrote today, John Prime Pass. So yeah, that one just kind of came out in one fell swoop. And then I'm Yours is great because it's kind of got that sort of bouncy, you know, having a kind of free lucky day. And that one's just kind of about being single for the first time in a while and being like, geez, I don't really know how to be single because I've been with this person for a while. So that one's kind of about that. And yeah, no, your three favorite songs are up there with mine. I like the first one too, to the Static. That was cool. Yeah.
So I know you talked a little bit about the importance of the Red Rocks Amphitheater, but it's kind of your home domain there, and you are. I mean, like I went back to see where you've been a lot, and you've been there a lot of times, just
Mhm.
doing your own shows, and that's kind of crazy because I feel like for a lot of folk artists or smaller artists, that's a pretty big place to go. Like people desire to go there. That's a place where people look out to, and it's kind of your home domain. How is that like? How is that possible?
Every time that I've played that stage, I've asked myself the same question as I'm looking up at 10,000 people. I'm like, how did we do this? I don't know how this is possible. Um, and Red Rocks never, it's only been the last maybe 15, 20 years, I believe, that they've had a full schedule of music with all types of bands. But in the past, it was only like really special events. Like I remember one of the first famous concerts there was like Dave Matthews, and he was like live from Red Rocks or something. Um, but now, every day of the summer and part of the spring and fall, and they even have like sometimes Wu-Tang comes in the wintertime. And they do like winter shows there. I guess you have to be pretty, to to enjoy the wintertime shows. But yeah, I mean, they do a really good job curating the place, and it's just one of the, you know, needless to say, one of the best venues in the whole world. Just like naturally cut out of this rock formation, and the view you can see all of like Denver and Boulder, all you can almost see to Kansas, and that's just a natural wonder. And I've been to a lot of shows there too, and I'd have to say that it's like equally as amazing to go see a show there as it is to play a show there.
Yeah. So you also met the Lumineers, who you just did a full length open. You opened for them, but you met the Lumineers there, and that's kind of how you guys like got together, right?
Well, I had met um actually the first person I met in the Lumineers is Stealth. He's kind of like the piano. He plays a whole bunch of instruments, but he's actually like always jumping off the piano and like climbing up the rafters and stuff. He was the first person I met a long time ago. And then I met Wesley, the lead singer. I met him a long time ago as well. And we've been aware of each other, over the years, just because we started out in the same area. Um, So I had like talked to him very briefly in the past, like 2008. And but my friend Chad Stokes, he's the lead singer for Dispatch. He are you aware of Dispatch?
It sounds very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great band from the Northeast. And he texted me one day and he was like, "Hey, I'm playing Red Rocks. Do you want to come to the show?" And I was like, "Yeah." Checked my schedule, nothing was going on. So I went there with my friend Brittany, and it turned out that Chad had sat us next to Wes and his wife Brandy. So we were just shooting it the whole show, and he was buying me beers, and we just started talking. And I had just made a record, my first solo record, and I texted him a link to it, and he texted me only a couple days later, and he was like, "This is so good." And like, hearing that sentiment from someone who's, done as much as he's done in the music world, it meant a lot. And then, we just struck up a friendship, and we've actually been writing together too, and he's producing my next record. So we've been doing a lot of co-writing for that record. And yeah, we toured all last summer, opening up for the Lumineers at all these huge arenas. And yeah, it's just such a thrilling chapter right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys made, correct me if I'm wrong, but you and Wes, you guys made a Christmas song together,
Yeah.
right?
uh yeah. It is actually Brandy, his wife. We were having dinner one night over at their place, and they were playing my music over their Sonos speakers outside, and uh that song came on because I had already written that song. It just didn't have the Christmas aspect to it. And Brandy said, uh, Dan, every time I hear this song, I hear Merry Christmas coming on." And Wes thought that was going to be, insulting to me. But I was like, that sounds pretty cool. And then, like, a couple weeks later, we were recording it as a Christmas tune, and the Lumineers put it out. And that's pretty cool. It gets a lot of plays around December.
Yeah, for sure. So how was your experience with the Lumineers and like going on tour with them, and how has that almost projected your growth as an artist, if it has at all?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a marathon in the music world, if unless you get a hit song. So which they were lucky enough to do, and rightfully so, a great song. But touring with them was just kind of eye-opening with like what it takes to capture, 20 to 40,000 people. And they just have such a wonderful crew, very large crew. And they're just so professional and on point. And we were just so grateful for the experience. But it's very fast paced, and a lot of hard work. And I just had gained so much respect and clarity on like what it takes to do all that. And so it's kind of augmented my whole approach in some way, but also kind of like, how do you capture 20,000 people? Well, you just be yourself and project that to them. And that's the best thing you can do. So I was like, okay, cool, we got this.
So going back to you personally, are you doing any solo or headlining shows upcoming or any tours soon?
Yeah, so I leave this one. I don't know when you're gonna put this up, but um, what is it today? It's
The 19th.
the 19th of June. I leave on Wednesday and do a festival up in Idaho. It's called the Sawtooth Music Gathering, and that's got myself, Margot Price, and Fruition, and Steve Poltz, and a bunch of great people. Excuse me. And then I opened up for the Wallflowers on August 21st, and then do Sisters Folk Festival out in Oregon. Um, I know I'm leaving some stuff out, but yeah, I got a pretty exciting summer ahead.
Are you looking to do anything? Are you looking to, like yourself? Are you looking to go out independently and do a tour independently?
Like without a band.
Just with Daniel Rodriguez and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
band that accompanies him, but like instead of doing festivals or anything like that.
Yeah, I think this summer is just festivals, which is
Mhm.
kind of nice because I just did 2 months. I did a 2 month tour of the West Coast and the Midwest. And so I just recently got off of that. And so it's kind of nice to have the summer as kind of um, collecting yourself and then going out on weekends and doing festivals on the weekends. The summer's really great for that. And then it'll I'm gonna do some right. I'm actually producing a record. This guy Mark Shiba, uh, Shiiba. I'm producing his record, and that happens in July. And then I'll do some more writing with Wes in the fall, and then do some touring next fall. I tour in the UK, like England and Scotland in November, and then we'll go back into the studio with Wes from the Lumineers and finish the record.
Sweet. So we can expect something to come out next year.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited for that. There's some pretty cool songs on there.
Amazing. Well, my name was John Mosher. Do you have anything to wrap up with?
Um, just keep it cool, everybody.
My name is John Mosher. This was Daniel Rodriguez. This is Mosher's Records alongside of 91.7 WCUR FM Westchester College Radio. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you, John. Appreciate
There's
it.
a wild horse that I'm working with, wild and free, and running like the lightning. Who are we? Are holding to the reins as she's galloping